Okay, and welcome back to the third episode of our second season of the podcast. I am Chase, and this has been...
What's the podcast name?
Podcast name is... Well, I mean, if you've been listening this long, then you probably know the name of the podcast, honestly, at this point.
Hey, this might be...
with Chase and Ben.
This might be somebody's first time, you know?
Thanks for your first time tuning into this third episode of the second season.
Hey, I've done that and be like, what the fuck is this?
So today we are talking about the movie The Fifth Element. It's an oldie but a goodie.
Definitely is. I always am shocked at how much I enjoy the movie every time I watch it. I'm just like, dang, there's still stuff I forget about it. There's still stuff that is like just really entertaining about that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It's just one of those movies I could watch every day, like all the time, and it's always like entertaining. It's always like funny. It's got everything really that you want in it.
Seriously.
As a movie. Basically, I'll do like a little overview just so if you haven't seen it, but I don't know how, like you definitely should see this movie. It's definitely like a good one, especially if you're a sci-fi person, obviously. Definitely go see it.
For sure.
Okay, so we wrote it out. It says, in a colorful future, a cab driver unwittingly becomes the central figure in the search for a legendary cosmic weapon to keep evil and Mr. Zorg at bay. Mr. Zorg is cool because he's played by Gary Oldman, who's an amazing actor.
He's a creepy bad guy.
He's a bad guy in a lot of things.
I like him as a good guy, obviously, because he kills it as Sirius Black, but like he is so gross as a bad guy. And this movie is no different. He's gross in the way he delivers his lines. He is gross in the way he wears his hair. It is just not... He's a yucky person, for sure.
Yeah, he is. And he's, like, basically, like, under the influence of, like, another bad guy. Like, a badder guy.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's like
a badder bad guy.
Giant... gross.
It's like an entity that's like a planet, basically.
Yeah.
That's like just that consumes other planets, basically.
No nice.
It's crazy.
Bully.
Very crazy.
The movie came out in 1997, which is odd for me to enjoy a movie that old. I was 3 years old. Perfect. It's a little over 2 hours. Perfect for an action movie. Expected for an action movie. It's honestly, I don't know if it's more action or comedy because it's a hilarious movie, but it's also just really, really good. It's not, at this time of recording, it is not on any streaming services whatsoever, but I think I actually just looked it up on Apple TV yesterday. It's $5 to buy on iTunes, so... You should go buy it, or you could rent it for $4.
Or you could buy a real copy of it, like a real actual
we can do that.
Physical copy of the movie.
That's
if you're
silly.
Into the whole vintage thing.
Having trash all over the place.
Right. Okay. Well.
No, I have a lot of physical copies. I started getting more physical copies of books recently. I like holding onto a book and reading a book. It's nice. It's interesting. Low tech.
Yeah, definitely low tech. That's what they call it nowadays. They call it pre-tech. That's what it is.
Chase, when was the first time you saw this movie? Did you see it in theaters or no?
No.
Okay.
No, I probably saw this movie when I was like probably 10.
Yeah.
I would say. I feel like my Aunt Margot like either introduced me to that movie, I want to say. And it was awesome back then too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel like it's one of those movies as an adult you would, like, it resonates more, like you can pick up on a little more things,
Dude, like the entirety of the Ruby Rod character, but...
Yeah.
But also the depth of this movie and, like, the heartfelt, like... It's wild.
It's a good movie.
It really is.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
I feel like your Aunt Margot and my Aunt Marty are very similar. Whereas they've shown us a lot of really, really awesome things. Like my Aunt Marty showed me Star Trek, and she was very supportive of my love with Star Wars. And I just feel like everyone has that one aunt that is
my Aunt Margot loves Star Trek too, yeah.
Are we sure that they're not the same person? Or?
No, my Aunt Margot's an OG, dude. She's 1 in a million.
Okay. What are you saying about Marty Wallace, bro?
Dime a dozen, baby.
She is actually... Oh shoot! What is the she's in the Hall of Fame. She's in the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame at college.
3 layups.
She's very sporty. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. She could dunk on you in a heartbeat. She's also like 6 foot. So
I could dunk on her in like 2
I
seconds.
just don't know.
Dude.
I just don't know about that.
2 seconds. Give me a basketball and a net, dude, and I'm
What's
like,
the basketball called that you have? The Street Phantom?
I have 2, but yeah, I have a street.
Give me the Street Phantom.
Street Phantom's the black ball. That's for when like you're like really trying to get serious about the game. Then I have the Never Flat, and that one is my everyday. Like go to the gym, I take
That's
that
your
basketball. Yeah,
That's
could
wild.
have gone pro, but I tore my ACL.
Damn, dude. Career ender, huh?
It sucks. Yeah. Yeah. But no, it's a nostalgic movie, and I am a nostalgic person, so I tend to watch this movie quite a bit, I would say. I like watching the same movies over and over and over. It doesn't
Same.
bother me in any way.
No way.
It's a dated movie, technology-wise. I would say, like, outfit-wise, things like that, but it definitely holds up. It's definitely something that I wouldn't say that, like, wouldn't catch your attention as long as, like, you didn't have your phone out. You'd be good to go.
Very true. That's the tough thing with some movies. You gotta like actually pay attention to them, and I love being on my phone at the same time. Yeah, the funny that you say costumes and stuff. The costumes were all made and supervised by Jean-Paul Gaultier, which is really interesting
Gaultier.
and actually caused casting issues. We'll get into that in a little bit, but yeah, he was in charge of like all of the costumes. And like some of them are just like, oh yeah, he's just wearing like an orange tank top and like green cargo pants. But then like there are a lot of costumes that are so like detailed, and there's so much dimension to them, and there's so much storytelling with the costumes themselves. It was just really, really interesting. And you learn, when we learned that, I was like, oh, that makes total sense. All of these look like they were from one person. They're all couture. They're all like crazy, like really nice garments. It was
Couture.
really
I don't know
couture.
what that means.
I honestly don't know either. It sounded cool, so I said it.
Couture.
Couture.
That does
It's very
sound
chic.
Okay. That is chic. That does sound good. It was the most expensive movie produced outside of Hollywood with whopping $8 million. Visual effects.
8 million or 80 million?
80.
80 million.
That's still a lot. But
Yeah.
80 is a ton, right? Like
$80 million
dollar,
visual effects budget. Just the budget for the visual effects was $80 million, which is insane.
which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's a space movie,
And it's and it looks good.
yeah,
It does look good. It really does. I thought every concept was sweet, and like things that like they had things. The thing that's cool when you think of like a space sci-fi movie that's that old is if that movie has things that we still don't have today,
yeah.
because that movie does, which is cool.
Which
So.
like the one thing that I was just thinking, I was like, yeah, I mean, they like printed a person, but I'm pretty sure I just read an article about they literally like created a human embryo without a sperm or an egg.
Yeah,
like
I
they
saw
just like
that.
created it.
That's really creepy.
It's kind of weird.
Where does the soul come from?
Well, that's
I'm
the
just
thing.
kidding. I'm just playing around. I don't know
I'm
anything
not
about
like
it. I don't know
honestly.
anything about it.
I think there is something like in humanity that is you can't like recreate it. I don't know. It's like weird.
I mean, I guess we can, but
Well, you can create the cells, but can you
Sure.
create a person?
the kid like can't like think or do anything.
I mean, they might. Well, yeah. What if? Ooh, concept. We're trademarking this right now.
Pyrenees hair in my mouth.
You 3D print a kid, yeah, and then they just don't have like they're just like a psychopath,
Ew.
and they just don't have any empathy. You
Ew.
can just breed them like that.
And then you could like, and then you know what you could do? You could sell them to the government, and then they could just be the military, and
This
then
is
no one,
Spy Kids.
no one that mattered would have to fight in the military. And then
No
everyone
one that
else
mattered?
yeah,
Well,
'cause
that's
those
the thing,
kids
though.
they're fine.
Very
Yeah.
a la iRobot in the beginning of the Matrix. What you know, what would deem this thing not that it doesn't matter? Like why does that 3D printed kid matter less than like a born kid?
Well, because it's just like not a real kid.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
man.
on like a cell level, it is. So that's the thing.
I suppose it's like I don't know.
It's tricky.
What
It's
if they're
humanity.
what if they're manufactured to be a soldier? then it's like a different to me. I feel like because it's like it would be no different than you building a robot to me.
Yeah,
making it like that.
Well, and that's the thing. Like with iRobot and the Matrix and stuff, it's like just because like AI, like the invention of AI. Why is AI, this artificial intelligence, lesser than our own intelligence?
Right.
Like when does it become smarter than us, and then we're
smarter.
Like, oops.
It probably is already, girl.
Probably, girl.
But yeah. So they don't. They like I said, they don't. They have a lot of things that we don't have nowadays. Case in point, you're flying. You can't go into like that little compartment on a roller and get put to sleep until you get to your destination. I would freak out, dude. I would love if that thing crashed. Like I would love to die in my sleep. I wouldn't want to be awake for that. I want to be comfy, dude. I'm trying to just die like that.
Why? No.
Sleep like a vampire.
You mustn't.
Dude. Like a vampire.
You gotta die fighting. You gotta die swinging.
No, anyways, they have that, but then they also have this efficient space-saving housing, and they have all these weird apartment kind of grows. They're kind of grows, but they're really narrow. Like they would be the size of the back room that we're in right now, which is
even smaller.
Yeah, it was pretty narrow and tight. Things would fold up and go into the wall, so you would save space.
Just all
right?
for efficiency.
Yeah, like your bed,
saving,
tables, anything like that, any furniture like that, right? Like everything would go in there. Your shower was could move up into the wall, things like that, very Japanese to me.
I was gonna
like
space saving, small homes, very
or an anime in Tokyo.
Yeah, well, a lot of, a lot of countries, a lot of East Asian countries will have a lot of micro hotels and all of these things where they're there's apartments where you can't even fit a twin bed in there.
Right.
It's literally a closet and you're supposed to do everything in there and the rent's $1,000 a month. And it's just this wild concept of efficient. You only have what you need and that's it. And it's I used to be very like that.
Yeah.
I still would categorize myself as a minimalist. But it's to that point, I now renting a house, I want to have creature comforts around me. I want my house to have character. I want it to look like this is my house.
Sure.
Just on the inside. The outside, no one would ever know that anyone lived there.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
But on the inside, I have my art up. I have my Funko Pops, my Legos, just a lot of stuff that makes my house look like it's me. Yeah. And I like that. And I think for the longest time when I was just moving around all over the place, I didn't care if my place looked like me because I was going to a new place in a year and it didn't matter.
Right. Of course.
I remember my 2 apartments ago and my last apartment, you personally yelled at me because I had no art on my walls anywhere.
Barren walls.
Yeah, and I was just it looks clean. It looks good. Everything's nice. It's
I'm
just
slowly adding stuff to Neveline's walls.
You're just taking over
slowly.
You're just oh, perfect. A whole other house that I get to decorate.
Look at this wall. This could be perfect for this photo.
Well, I need your help in my bedroom because there's empty walls in my bedroom. I have a giant 8-foot painting from Melise Hill artist.com and I have like nothing else in my room.
We saw so many good shirts for her today at that vintage store. What was that place called today?
It's like Weirdo Vintage.
Freakazoid
Vintage.
Freakazoid Vintage in Royal Oak. It was pretty interesting.
Melise,
it's worth a check out.
A lot of gifts.
I would say, yeah, it was cool.
It's worth a check out. I'm not trying to be like this. It was so expensive.
Yeah, I know, but like some of those shirts were like legit.
That is something that's tough for me.
So it's like it's tricky. I'm willing to spend like 50 and under. If it's like if it's something I'm in love with, 50 is fine.
Yeah.
If it fits perfectly and I'm like,
yeah.
If it's like my Arnold Schwarzenegger shirt, $50, I wouldn't even blink twice. Yeah.
Well, that Darth Maul shirt I would have gotten if it was in my size, or I wouldn't feel weird framing it. I would have bought it. But also, wasn't it like $90?
It was 80, I think. Yeah.
Still,
it's a lot.
It's so much.
Yeah, it's a lot, and then it's like how much is too much for a T-shirt for you not to want to wear it either?
Well, and then it's like because we talked about that
mustard on a shirt that I spent $280 on. You know what I mean? Like that just seems kind of weird. So
well, and then you got that what's that shirt from that movie that we're gonna have that guy sign? please jump in anytime.
Remember the Titans, and I got my T.C. Williams shirt.
T.C. Williams, like
It's from
high
the
school
actual
shirt.
school, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's from
so
the
it's like the actual school, and then we're gonna get it signed by.
Well, we had two opportunities. The first one, we were going to get it signed by Louis Lastic. I don't know if you remember that or not.
That was the first time we were gonna do
Right.
it.
The dude that lost a ton of weight, and he looks really good. And
Me?
then, yes. And then the other one is Gary Bertier.
Gary Bertier.
Oh, Gary Bertier.
I don't
Tragedy.
want to get to know him.
Remember the Titans?
Should that be on the list?
We should watch that one. If any, you know what? Yeah, people watch Remember the Titans for me. If you've never seen it, watch it for yourself. If you've
so
seen it
good.
before, watch it for me. You know what I'm saying?
Denzel's magnum opus.
Have one for me, as they say. Have one for me.
It's the start of Ryan Gosling.
Gosling.
That
Gosling.
was that his first movie?
I think so, yeah.
Now I'm interested.
I don't know, because he was a child actor with Elijah
Oh, he
Wood.
totally was. Yeah. I'm not going to look it up anymore. Yeah, they were... Maybe that was his first, like... I mean, it's a Disney movie, so it was big.
Who knows? The nose knows.
The internet knows, but I don't want to look into it.
I want to know. Okay. Anyways, I was talking about how the main character, well, one of the main bad guys, Zorg, he is, he's like underneath this other thing that they refer to as Mr. Shadow, which is like this planet thing that's huge and gross and ominous. And
he's
like,
under the influence.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't know, like in the movie, if he's like actually being like I don't know what's in it for Zorg, I guess.
Yeah. I think he's just like a pawn. He's a very
but he's gonna
pawn,
destroy the world. So like, what would would it be like safety and freedom, or like what would it be?
I
don't know. It's like a weird situation. They don't mention it in the movie. Also, too, I forgot about this until just now. My barber, Derek, at Roughneck's Barbershop in Livonia.
I was gonna say Novi. That's all the same over there.
He told me the other day, which I didn't realize this till he actually said, and I was like, damn, you're right. So in that entire movie, the two main characters, they never, ever share a space together. Never.
Zorg and
Bruce Willis. Not one
Bruce
time.
Willis?
Not once. The only time that they come close is when he is coming off of his ship to go into the hotel to place the bomb, and they're leaving, but they don't ever see
I was
each
going to
other.
say that was the only time. That was when I was
Isn't
going to
that
mention
weird?
that. I mean,
I didn't even notice that.
I
And
wonder
was like,
how many
what?
other movies are like
I was like,
that.
even
That's
at
very
the
true,
end,
though.
and then I was like, yeah, right, because he blows up from the thing, and then
Yeah.
like it's like, yeah, they never ever ever see each other.
What
it's
is that,
really weird.
What is that ship called?
I have no idea.
No, something Paradise.
Oh, Flossed in Paradise.
Flossed in Paradise.
Yeah.
I wanna
Which
go
is
there.
cool because so that is something I was going to say that they have, quote unquote, that we don't have.
Yeah.
So like Flossed in Paradise is sweet because like you go, like you basically take a cruise to this place that's an island, but the island is a ship that's like hovering over a planet
giant-
that's just made of water.
Yeah, it's like a giant cruise ship that's
It's sweet. That's
orbiting
like just
a
a
water
big
planet.
yeah. So you
Yeah.
just have this resort. It's super cool. Like it's a very cool idea.
It's just like any resort you go to in America or like the Caribbean, but instead of like being able to walk out of the resort onto a beach into the water, you have to fly to the planet that you're orbiting to go swimming.
Exactly.
It's wild though. But yeah, so kind of like talking about like the story of the movie, basically, you know, big bad dude, Mr. Evil, gross ghost man. What's his name? The big baddie.
Mr. Shadow.
Mr. Shadow shows up and he's like, I'm gonna destroy your planet.
And then that black stuff comes out of his Zorg's forehead for some reason. I'm not really sure what that is.
I don't know either.
It doesn't even have a wound or anything. It's so weird.
But like basically like, hey, I'm gonna destroy the world in like 48 hours. So then they basically they create this person that they think is going to be able to help them like save the world, Lilu, and she ends up like she knows how to get
Who's played by Mia Jovovich.
Love of many
Resident
young boys.
Evil.
Yes,
People know her. Yeah.
people are aware.
I feel like she's naked in every movie she's in.
Is she naked in? She definitely is in Resident
Yeah.
Evil.
Yeah.
Hey, some people are just kind of like
She's
that.
also naked in that one movie, that alien movie, The Fourth Kind.
I don't think I've ever
It's
seen that.
good,
Or I watched it
and
with
it's
you
scary.
a long time
it's
ago.
Scary.
Yeah.
It's gross. Yeah. It's a good one.
So naked Mila Jovovich, she can save the world, and she needs to get these stones that represent the 4 elements, and then they're looking for the 5th element to kind of like help, save the world.
Save the world.
It's the 5th element.
Yeah.
So they're going. She ends up escaping from the area where she was like created to help, and she falls into the cab of Bruce Willis.
Right.
Dallas, what's his first name?
Corbin Dallas.
Corbin Dallas.
Corbin.
Corbin Dallas. He's the taxi driver that we talked about in the beginning. So they become a pair, and they basically have to get these stones, but these stones are on Floston's Paradise. So they have to go there. They win, quote unquote, win. They're made to win this Gemini croquette contest. So they get to go and get the stones. But the MC who is kind of running the Gemini croquette contest is probably one of my favorite fictional characters in all of media.
Sure.
His name is Ruby Rod.
Yeah.
And he's just like an MC. He's just like a TV personality. He's played by Chris Tucker. And it is the most bonkers, bananas, like wild, eccentric character that Chris Tucker has ever played.
100%. He is so like flamboyant. His costumes are just
they're like all
crazy.
skin tight jumpsuits. Yeah. Like the first time you meet him, he's in a leopard print jumpsuit with a giant cutout for his chest, and then his hair is bleach blonde with a cone of hair, and it's just so wild.
It's like a cone that has
it's like a tube of hair.
It's a tube,
yeah. And he carries around a cane, which is his microphone, and he's like basically doing a radio show the entire time he's walking around.
Show,
yeah. So he's like doing this radio show, and something funny that I found out before we rewatched this, but more recently, originally I think that part was either written for Prince or written, and they were like, we really want Prince to play this character, because again, very eccentric, very wild, very flamboyant. And it basically got down to the point where Prince said no because he wasn't going to be allowed to wear his own clothes. Prince wanted to wear his own outfits, have his own costumes, and they're like, no, we're having Jean-Paul Gaultier do all of these custom pieces. You can't like wear your own clothes. So he turned it down. So then Chris Tucker did it. And honestly, I'm not saying anything against Prince, but Chris Tucker did an incredible
There's no way
job.
that he would have done a better job than
dude. It was
Chris
so
Tucker was
good.
definitely the best person for the job. That's always how it works out.
Oh, it's
it
so
always
funny.
Like that.
Yeah,
it's like Keanu and Will Smith as Neo. Come on, that couldn't have worked out.
The fact
better.
that Will Smith was even
it's weird.
Like I've seen Will
not,
Smith in Serious, but like I don't think it would have been
Neo.
Good. No,
yeah, he's not a Neo.
Will Smith, I think, like while I love Keanu Reeves,
he's an Agent J.
Well, Keanu could be a nobody.
Sure, yeah.
He could be just your run-of-the-mill guy who ends up being this like, ooh, I'm going to watch The Matrix Reloaded tonight. I've just decided. We should watch it on the projector outside while we have a fire.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be really cool.
I don't think I could see Will Smith as like playing a nobody. Like I don't think
he does in that Pursuit of Happiness movie.
See, but again, I think he's like he has so much charisma even in that movie.
Yeah.
Like he demands to be heard, and like I don't know, like
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, when like Keanu Reeves is like sitting when he's like sitting in his bedroom and like on his computer and like selling those programs and stuff, like if I saw you walking down the street, I wouldn't give another thought to you.
Sure. Yeah.
But when he is Neo, he can play that. And like John Wick and like all these other roles that he's in.
He's relatable.
Yeah. I think he's a little more
Kean-tuned, as they call him on the streets.
Of Doonbind.
Yes. Brought to you by Pure Life Water by Ben. Purified water for your pleasure.
It tastes...
There's so much stuff in that's not water, and I don't like it, but there's no other choice. So.
Let's read it off. So ingredients in this water.
Everybody check your bottled water ingredients because there's a lot of them that don't just have water in it, and it's weird. And it makes me feel gross.
The ingredients are purified water, less than 0.5% of calcium chloride, sodium bicarbonate, and magnesium sulfate. Do you know what the source of this water is?
No.
Deep protected wells in Stanwood, Michigan, purified using reverse osmosis or distillation.
That's really cool.
It's cool that it's Michigan.
Uh-huh.
And I'm glad it's coming from a well and not the Great Lakes. Nestle.
Whoa, dude.
No, shots fired at Nestle. On this podcast, we do not support Nestle and their emptying of the Great Lakes.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, Nestle.
I don't know anything about that.
Nestle water is from the Great Lakes.
Oh.
Yeah.
How dare they, dude? How
dare he?
We have many tapestries.
Stop. This movie was supposed to be a trilogy. They were going to they had 3 scripts for this movie, and it was 3 different parts, and they ended up just pushing it all together into one movie, which honestly, I could see how it could be a trilogy. I'm very happy it's one movie.
Yeah.
Because sometimes trilogies, there's always going to be one movie that like makes no sense in the trilogy, and it's like, why are we doing this right now?
I feel that, yeah.
Besides The Lord of the Rings. Unbeatable.
Oh. I don't know. I like the idea of it. it's hard for me. It's so hard. I want to get into it, but I can't.
All 3
it's
of
so
them
tricky.
are on IMDb's top 25 rated
I know.
movies.
I know that they should be great, and I do think that they're great and entertaining, but I just can't get as into them as I want to.
I don't
really
think you're
want
very
to.
into high fantasy, which is fine.
High fantasy.
High fantasy.
I don't know what that means.
It's like knights and dragons
Not
and
always,
wizards
yeah.
and stuff.
Not always.
Harry Potter is high fantasy.
Harry Potter. I like Harry Potter.
Harry Potter's not high fantasy.
Oh, okay. There's a rat running across my privacy fence right
That's
now.
really cool.
It's big too.
I wonder. No, there's
It's
there's
the
no
Rat
way we
King.
can
It's
see it.
Theo.
The Rat King. Scoot the hell up. What else? Let me just take a look at these little notes here really quick.
Let's look at these notes really fast.
How about this? I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
So in the future, do you think when this world inevitably is eaten alive and all of its resources are gone, do you think we're going to be living in space stations, or do you think we're going to be finding other planets to like inhabit?
I think we'll be finding other planets to inhabit.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I-
We're already doing that.
I was going to say, me being pretty naive to the whole like what's going on outside of Michigan, let alone the world. I feel like I hear all the time that we are like constantly finding new planets.
Right, yeah.
But it's never like, hey, we just finished a new hospital wing for the giant space station we're all going to move to once the Earth dies.
Right.
Like Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century, they're all living on a space station, but the Earth is still there too.
Sure.
So it's like, I wonder if there will ever be a time where there's just like a giant ass space station where people can choose to live.
Maybe.
And do you think all the poor
Would
people
you-
or the rich people are going to be up there?
Rich people.
Yeah.
Do you think that you would go up there?
I would try it out for sure.
Ew, I would not.
I know you're not.
I would not.
Which is funny because space horror is your favorite horror, but you do not like space.
Because it's my favorite horror because it's the scariest to
It's
me.
spooky,
Yeah,
scary.
it's gross. Yeah, space horror is the best because you don't have an option. You have to deal with the problem.
You're there.
Or you're in
Gotta
space.
deal with it.
Yeah, there's no way around it. There's nothing you can do. No, I think that would be cool. I don't think I have the balls to go to the space station. Because that would require me to have to go on a spaceship, like a rocket.
Yeah.
Which is not something that I can
Smooth.
emotionally do.
Smooth.
I'd have to
sailing.
take 15 Xanaxes
You just
at a time with a shot of whiskey. All in
ewy.
day. With a nip of whiskey.
Call it a week, and then
dude.
we wake you up once we've been on the space station for a
Yeah,
week.
dude.
Like, hey, bud.
That being said, though, in the future, because there's a lot of really cool, like, nifty things in this movie, though. Like, gadget-wise, appliance-wise, like, everything like that, right? Because we're, like, super in the future. I don't remember what year it is in that movie, honestly.
I don't think there was. It was. I thought I looked it up, but I don't think there's a specific year. I'm gonna try to look it again. Keep
But
talking.
there are a lot of things on that. For example, like, one of my things that I like with. I hope I would look forward to this. This is something I would look forward to if it happened. So in the movie, there's like this thing, and it looks like a microwave, and like you put like these like little pills in it, or you put these like little tablets in it, and each tablet is like a different type of meal, and then it just like amazingly like cooks that meal for you like right away, and it's like the perfect version. It'll cook you like a total like Thanksgiving dinner for you in like 2 seconds, or
That
like
would be
anything
so
you want.
sick.
Anything you want. It would be like the perfect version. I would love that, dude. That would be the best.
Okay, it just says in the 23rd century.
Also, what you're wondering that is Carlos is snoring.
Okay, I was like sitting here and I'm hearing this
You hear
noise,
him?
this repetitive like snoring, and I'm like, what is going on? And I thought it was like a car outside,
It's
but no,
Carlos.
it's just Carlos laying on the ground.
I have
snoozing
a
away.
very sleepy Sharpay in this room right now.
I was hanging out with Casey last night, and Casey got a video of Pickles snoring, and it was really cute. And
That's
then it
good.
just heard me bitching in the background about something.
Oh.
Big surprise. Yeah, the movie is the 23rd century, so 2200 something.
Yeah, so it's like, so that's what I would be into. I would be into something like that. I'd be into, like, honestly, like, obviously, I'd be into the high-tech guns, high-tech
Yeah.
knives, because, like, maybe they're, like, little lightsabers or something. Who knows? Things like that I would be super stoked about.
So speaking of little lightsabers and microwaves that just make instant food,
Yeah.
both feature in Spy Kids.
Ew.
Because in Spy Kids, they get to this safe house and they're like, I'm hungry. So they start looking through the kitchen. There's nothing in the cabinets. But they have these little like discs. They're like little, like they almost look like chocolate bars. They're like the kind of the size of a chocolate bar. And one of them has like McDonald's, like the golden arches on it. And she just takes it and puts it in this microwave, closes it, presses a button, and it goes bing. She opens it. It's like steaming hot. It's a Big Mac with Coke and fries. And me as a fat little kid, I was like,
You're like, "Dee."
you could not stop me from eating all of that. The TV's on. See, now we're scared. Now we're just hearing shit that ain't
I'm
even here.
paranoid. I'm tripping.
But yeah, and they have a little lightsaber to like cut stuff. It's so cool.
That is cool.
I have lightsabers now. Though.
The
I don't
movie
even need one.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, they have the best version of that food thing that I've ever seen in a movie is that one, because that one is basically like this thing that you put your face into and it lights up and it figures out what you're craving and then it makes it. And it's
that
like, dude,
would be great.
That would be crazy.
Like
dude.
literally
Ooh.
today. Ooh, I need some lunch. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. What do you
Yeah.
want?
Just put it in there. Boom. You're good. You get
Like,
what you
want Oak House Deli, and you want to wait 20 minutes for a sandwich.
Exactly.
I said thank you.
Thank you. We had a fun time.
It was a really good sandwich.
That one, and then they do in that movie too, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. They also have a kitchen knife that is a little lightsaber, and you cut bread with it, and it toasts the
toasts
bread.
it.
It's so sweet. Yeah,
I've seen
like
that
I'd love
before.
shit
That'd be
like
so
that, dude.
cool.
Yeah, I would love it.
Oh my goodness.
It's
gone forever now. Let's see. What else? What would you say if there was one thing that you had that you're excited for in the future? What would it be?
I would say, like, honestly, like that kind of stuff, like the upholstery, like the appliances. I would be really excited for kitchen appliances. It'd be sweet.
Well, there's even the part too when he's like in his apartment and that like Chinese food restaurant literally like pulls up to his window.
It's a little
and it's a little
like
bar,
a food cart,
and he just
it's like
sits there.
food
Yeah,
cart, yeah, food truck, yeah.
But it literally comes to your house.
Yeah.
DoorDash who?
Yeah.
DoorDash left quaking.
He just like hung out, left quaking.
Yeah. That would be cool, but I also like I'm like when I do get DoorDash, I'm like, drop it off on the front porch and don't talk to me at all and leave. Go away.
Go away.
I just don't like talking to people,
I get it.
especially at my house.
At your house.
Yeah. How about this? You're given right now, you're given an unlimited amount of money. You can make any type of home that you can make, that you would want to make. Would you go more towards like futuristic, like space saving, like very clean lines and everything, or would you go for like cottage core and just like
Come on, dude. You know I would go for that.
I know the answer, but maybe the
I
people
need that.
listening
I
don't
need
know
that
the answer.
charm. I need that grace and charm in my house.
What's
I
the
would have a house
character?
that has a wraparound porch that you would see in like Georgia, like a nice pink or yellow, like,
Georgia.
beautiful house. It's huge,
Yeah.
old. It's been there for 100 years, but it's all like redone and nice and good. That's what I would be like.
What are you looking at?
It's a birdie, a big birdie.
Birdie?
It's flew away.
I would want some features of that, but I just really like brand new. I want it to be like clean,
Sterile.
not sterile. Like
Sterile.
I think at the end my apartment wasn't like that. Like there was some like homey features to it. I just like something that is like you can see that I live there, but I don't want it to be like cluttered.
I see.
That's my tism. I need things to just be like very put away, very like to the point, very like what they need to be.
I get that. I just want my house to be like somewhere that I really like being at.
Yeah.
Like somewhere happy. So
And that's the thing. I think that is very happy for me. Like I like having like no stress, no like mess, no fuss. It's just like everything is here for a reason and it's good to go.
Yeah, I can see that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always like that. I don't know what it is. There's just something about that like worn in house to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Houses can tell a story, you know. A lot happens in houses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Good and bad.
It's funny. Like I was trying to think about that. I was like, I wonder what instilled that in me. And I was like, do my parents have like a lot of stuff in their house? And we like, I think my parents' house is big. I've been told
big.
it's not.
It's pretty big.
It's like, I think it's less than 1,400 square feet.
It's not like huge, but it's like a good size.
I always thought it was a really big house when I was a kid, but there's not like a lot of stuff like crammed in there.
Sure.
Which is why I think that's why I am like that. There's definitely a lot more art on the walls now because my dad got really into like art and like wood carvings and like prints and stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But like when I was growing up, there wasn't a lot of stuff on the walls. Like I didn't really ever have a lot of stuff on my walls as a kid.
Oh, mine were totally, yeah. I got a ton of stuff.
Everything was just like digital for me. Like everything I collect, like I always had like a bunch of photos on my phone or my iPod and stuff like that. Like everything was always digital.
I didn't have a phone for a long time.
Yeah.
So it would be posters and stuff like that on my wall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like just a kid's wall, like a kid's room. It looked like a regular little boy's room.
True.
It was cool.
Yeah.
I had a good childhood. I did.
I would also say I did too, just to put that out there.
I did.
So it's kind of like a final, like, you know, high point of the movie. You know, this whole time they're searching for these stones. They're searching for the fifth element to try to save the world from Mr. Shadow. I don't know why I can never remember that thing's name. They're trying to save the world and stuff. And at the very end, I mean, spoiler alert, but the movie's been out for 80 years. Lilu turns out to be the fifth element and like the fifth thing that's needed to save the world. And it just kind of puts it into perspective where she was like created a day before this and she has to like choose whether or not to save the world. And when she is basically learning English and becoming like a person to kind of like, so she's not just like a mumbling alien that was created for a second, she's basically, in lack of a better term, like downloading the entire world's history.
Right. Yeah,
all the
like looking at
wars, all
everything
the
we've done.
famines. Yeah, it's just all of the things that humanity has done. And it raises the question of if you were a higher being and you were this higher life form and you saw how horrible the world is, would you choose to save it or would you choose to say, you know what, this one's done, let's be done with it?
Right.
And
It's a tricky question. Yeah.
It is tricky.
I think if you were from here, it would be hard because it depends on the situation. Like if you were a higher intelligence, I think the things that we do would be like hard to understand.
Yeah,
and I think
like
it'd be
archaic.
like it'd be appalling. I think
Yeah.
a lot of it, because I think if you are super intelligent, I would argue then you would be nonviolent.
Yeah.
Typically.
Well,
so like, you know, typically.
That's very funny that you say that because like all of these like, I mean, how many space movies out there are there where like all these aliens are at war with each other and it's like, really? Y'all haven't figured out how to not do that?
If they have that technology that would be greater than ours, they already kind of understand that they have like a position of dominance over us. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they would have to like be like, I think they'd be peaceful. I don't think they would be like super like intimidated by us. You know what I mean?
No, definitely not
so.
us. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I would say it depends. If I saw all that stuff, I think it depends. In this specific situation, she goes on like a journey with friends, basically.
Yeah.
So like over time, she like learns what it means to be human, how hard it is to be human, right? Like
It's hard sometimes.
I think like the story of a human is tragic because like we know what we're doing, but we just have our nature, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of how it is, right? Like so, I think you would also learn that. So it would be difficult for me to make a decision about an entire species, like after that.
Yeah.
Like after that, I would be like, well, I mean, like, yeah, they're not great, but like they are also great at the same time. Like they're capable of great things. So I might, like, in my brain, I probably would do it. I probably would save the world if I could, hoping that maybe this is like a wake up call. Maybe like things will just kind of get better now. You know what I mean? I don't know. I would try to do something. I think with like the type of person I am too, I think like it would be hard for me if I knew I was the only person capable of helping a mass amount of people and I didn't do it. Like that's selfish to me. Like it's not about me.
I would agree
So
with that.
like, you know what I mean? So like that's what I would say. So I would say in this specific situation, I would say that I would probably try to save the world.
Yeah.
If I didn't know anything though, and I just like was by myself, and then I saw that, probably would not.
Like, oh gosh,
I
get
probably
rid
would
of
not.
this.
I would be like, okay, these are like really violent maniac things. They're
Yeah.
just like super possessive, super ornery, really violent. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, so that's what I would say with that. Like, you want to make sure that, like, you know, you're being forgiving to an extent, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's always bad apples, you know, so.
Well, it's funny
tricky.
that just like, as silly as it sounds, it just reminds me of like two stories from the Bible. One is like Jonah. God's like, Jonah, go to Nineveh, tell them they're all bad and that I'm destroying the town. Like I'm destroying the whole city. So Jonah's like, I don't want to go, it's scary. And then he gets eaten by a big fish. And then he gets spit out of the big fish. He's like, okay, I'll go. I'll tell them.
He's like, all right,
very
fine.
quickly paraphrasing
He's like,
this
I got
story.
spit out. I'll go.
Yeah.
All
So he
right.
goes and he's like, Nineveh, you all suck and you're all going to be exploded by God. And then they're like, you know what? You're right. We haven't been doing good. Let's not do this.
You're like, that sounds totally like normal if that would happen. Let's just not do anything now.
Well, they're like, we should probably not. We should turn from our ways. We should start following God.
Yeah.
And then Jonah gets pissed. He's like, what? Kill them. They're the worst. Yeah, it's funny. So it's funny. It's like, you know, you like maybe be like, hey, you guys are real bad and I don't really want to save the world. And everyone's like, okay, we're sorry. We won't do it no more. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I won't destroy you anymore.
No?
That's funny.
That's how it is.
Yeah. There's
Business.
another story in the Bible, but I can't actually remember all the specifics, so I'm not going to bring that one up.
Don't butcher the Bible, Ben.
I try not to.
You try not to.
I try not to. But yeah, it's just, I mean, me personally, I'm like a big believer of like mind your business. So like if I'm literally created to save this world, I'm going to save it.
Sure.
It's not up to me to determine, you just broke that. It's not up to me to determine whether or not they deserve it.
Sure.
I'm here for a purpose. My purpose is to save it, so I'm going to save it.
Sure. That makes sense. That's like cut and dry. Black and white.
I just try, like, again, not my problem, not my issue, not my
Not
thing
my
that
president, right?
Not, oh gosh, not my thing that I have to be concerned about. That was always my thing. Like when I worked at Target and when I worked at Apple, I'd be like, these people are trying to take advantage of the system. And my managers would always say the same thing. They're like, they are not taking money out of your paycheck.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah.
Like, do what you're supposed to do. Help these people. You're here to help them, so help them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that mentality has really helped me out in recent years and hopefully for many years to come. I'm here to help. I'm here to do what I'm supposed to do. So let me just do what I'm supposed to do. And that's all I got to focus on.
Sure. That's good.
But yeah.
But that's the last question I'd say is something for everyone to think about, though. Like if you had that knowledge of us and what we are capable of doing, but what we already have done, how would you feel? What would you do? What is a good, fair answer? Is Thanos correct?
Yes.
I think he is. Yeah.
He can be, but
I think
just
he
don't
is.
want him to be.
The prognosis is correct. The treatment plan is wrong.
That's the thing. And that's what, like, that has been something I've kind of realized in my life. Like, everything is gray no matter what. There is no black and white because there's the human condition. And once the human condition is introduced into a situation, there is so much gray area.
It's irrational then, yeah.
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 That whole bookmark is coming apart now,
it's not.
I feel.
Look,
I thought it was tied somewhere. Oh,
it's
well.
fine. Everything's going to be fine.
I don't know.
Yes, Ben, it's going to be fine.
I'm not familiar with that song.
I just made it up just now.
Oh.
Poppy, don't touch me. So he's trying to touch me, and I
Songbird
don't want to be touched.
of the generation.
It's unsolicited.
That's it. 2 hours and 6 minutes, baby. It's a
That's
great
it.
watch. You should watch it. There's a lot
You
of
should
famous
buy
people in
it,
it. It's really
and you
good.
should own it, and you should watch it. That's
If
what
you
I would
want to
say.
watch it and you don't have it, give me a call. I own it on digital. Chase owns it
Send
on
me a letter.
physical.
Send me a letter.
If you want to watch it with
Send
Chase,
me a letter.
send him a letter.
Send it to the Hazel Park Police Station.
And if you want to watch it with me, meet me in Meta, and we can talk about it in the metaverse.
What's Medund?
It's like the like fake world that Facebook made.
Are people using that still?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, I don't know anything.
I
about
don't
it.
often keep up with what's going on with Facebook.
Meta. All right, cool.
But all right.
Everybody check it out. Have a good evening or morning or afternoon.
Or whenever you're listening to this.
Whenever.
And next week, we sat down, we had a planning session. We got a lot of stuff planned out. I'm getting more and more excited about our October Jamboree.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really fun. Also, just as like a little like selfish side note, it has been in the 60s and 70s the past few days, and I have been enjoying myself.
Yeah, it's been nice out. It's been
Holy
really nice
cow.
out. Yeah.
I just took the air conditioner out of my window, and it was like my
Fantastic.
favorite thing to do.
Yeah, it's nice. It's getting to that point now, which is cool, especially at night.
Karen has come to a point now where I don't need to
Karen.
run my air conditioning in the nighttime.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
My dad's Jim, and he works.
At the grocer.
He is a grocer.
Grocer.
That'd be cool. All right, kiddos. Time to sign off.
All right. Goodbye, guys.
3, 2, 1. Bye-bye now.